What's the most common fitness myth on social media? After scrolling for hours, I tallied up the top 7 and we're counting them down today. Many women fear that lifting weights will make them bulky or masculine. In reality, most women don't have enough testosterone to build the same size muscle mass as men do. The differences in the female bone structure, such as the narrower shoulders and wider hip, ultimately plays a role in the shape that the muscles create as they're growing. For most women, strength training combined with low to moderate amounts of body fat will result in that lean or toned look that so many women are desiring. Coming in at number 6, we have that fat can be turned into muscle. This myth suggests that our fat cells can be directly converted into muscle cells, and that's just not how the body works. See, fat tissue or adipose tissue and muscle are two completely different tissues. While you can simultaneously build muscle and burn fat through a combination of balanced exercise and nutrition plans, there is no way to magically transform those fat cells into muscle. What happens is we use fat as energy and slowly burn that off when we're in a calorie deficit, and we use the protein that we eat to then build the muscle that we've worked out. At number 5, we have crunches are the key to having a six-pack. While abdominal exercises such as crunches and other high rep range core exercises do train the abdominal muscles, they alone are not going to get anybody a six-pack. Visible abs require 2 things. The first is to have a low body fat percentage, and the second is to increase the size of the abdominal muscles themselves. When it comes to increasing muscle size, the core is going to benefit from the same training principles as just about every other muscle group in the body. We still want to be aiming for that 3 to 6 sets of moderate to high intensity exercise, finding the close to failure point somewhere between, say, 6 and 15 reps. Weighted core exercises or hanging core, where your lower body becomes the resistance, are more likely to fall in that ideal rep range than the traditional crunches will. As for reaching a low enough body fat percentage, it's going to be dependent on your nutrition and some luck on the genetics front. Some people's bodies just really like to store fat on their front side, and it's going to be very difficult for those people to reach a low body fat percentage and remain in a healthy zone. Remember, having visible abs are not the ultimate sign of health. At number 4, we have that eating before bed will automatically make you gain body fat. There's a misconception that consuming food shortly before going to bed is automatically going to make you gain weight or be directly turned into fat. Now, there is a correlation between poor sleep hygiene and weight gain, but it's not necessarily the meal timing that is the issue. To me, there's 2 categories of late night eating. The first being snacking. Over-consuming calories of any sort, and especially a lot of those desirable late night snacks or mindless eating, can definitely lead to an overconsumption of calories throughout the day. The second is eating large meals before bed. Large amounts of food in the belly can make it difficult to fall asleep, and even if you do fall asleep, it's difficult to get into those deep sleep patterns. Now, sleep plays a role in hunger due to the fact that our hunger hormones are typically balanced at night. Ghrelin is the one that makes us feel hungry, leptin is the one that makes us feel full, and when we get poor sleep, we tend to have higher amounts of ghrelin in the system. This can lead to overeating the next day and a potentially frustrating cycle of overeating. Down to the top 3. At number 3 is that you can sweat out toxins. There is a belief that sweating profusely during exercise is going to rid the body of toxins. Part of this comes from the fact that our sweat smells bad. While sweat tends to smell bad, very few toxins actually escape through the skin. That smell comes from the bacteria on our body combining with the water and electrolytes that we sweat out. The liver and kidneys are responsible for detoxifying the body, and sweating is simply the body's way of regulating the body temperature during exertion. Number 2, you can tone muscles. This one's still going around. Unless you have a neurological condition, your muscle tone is fine. The fitness industry's use of toning is simply a marketing term for hypertrophy training targeted at women, typically during a calorie deficit. Achieving that lean, defined appearance is no different than the principles used for building muscle mass and balancing nutrition. And the number one most common myth on social media still is weight loss equals fat loss. Many people focus solely on that number on the scale and assume that any change in weight is going to be a change in fat. However, changes in weight can also come from changes in water, changes in muscle mass, and in extreme cases, changes in bone density. Anytime we see dramatic weight loss in a short amount of time, a large percentage of that is going to come from water. Even throughout a normal day of eating, drinking water, and having a bowel routine, you're going to notice some changes in your weight. Even through a single day of normal eating habits, weight can fluctuate by a few pounds in either direction. While there are always accolades given to people who can lose a lot of weight in a short amount of time, safe and sustainable weight loss really lies within that 0.5 pound to 2 pounds per week. Comment below which of these you thought was most surprising and click here to learn why it's important to pick the right training goal for you. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye!